Welcome to the Munro Review, where it's all about connecting, sharing, and valuing the arts in the Central San Joaquin Valley. I'm Donald Munro. Today is June 14th, and I'm coming to you from the beautiful CMAC studios in downtown Fresno. We have two exciting in-studio segments for you today. It's Summer Arts time at Fresno State, and we meet two of the people who are working behind the scenes to bring it to you. And we focus on a new Valley Theater company, the Madera Theater Project, now in its second summer. It's bringing 3 shows to audiences this season, and we even get a musical performance from one of them. But first, let's take a look at some of what I've been covering on MunroReview.com. I'm going to start off with the goofiest story I've posted in a while. To preview a performance by Shine Theater Company of the Broadway musical Hands on a Hard Body, I interviewed, and I use that term loosely, a silver Chevy Colorado pickup truck with a maximum towing capacity of 2,200 pounds. Here's the reason why. Hands on a Hard Body has an unlikely storyline. A group of contestants enter a contest giving away a hard body truck at a Texas car dealership. The rules are simple. The last contestant with his or her hands on the truck wins it. Shine Theater used a real truck on stage, so I figured, why not interview him? I named him Dwight. He loves Samuel Beckett, premium gas, and, quote, long drives along bumpy mountain trails followed by warm, bubbly washes, end quote. You can check out my most unlikely actor interview of the year. There was some more serious art news as well. The controversy over Measure P continues. If you remember, the measure is Fresno's special sales tax funding the parks and arts. The problem is that the initiative was passed by the voters in 2018 and has raised an estimated $15 million for the arts alone, but none of it has yet made its way to actual artists. Now, there are many reasons why, including bureaucratic sluggishness, power dynamics between the mayor and city council, a sloppy job by tone-deaf out-of-town consultants, and a bizarre push to put parks people in charge of arts grants. Through it all, the Fresno Arts Council has been fighting for its rightful place in the process, according to the language of the initiative itself. Special TMR correspondent Doug Hoagland has been following all the twists and turns. I built a special Measure P page on the website, pulling together all the stories we've written so far about this very important issue, which should be a game changer for the Fresno art scene if we can only get through all the red tape. You'll find a link to that page on the homepage of MunroReview.com. A couple of other stories to share. There are reviews of Good Company players All Shook Up. Selma Art Center's recently closed Next to Normal, and coverage of Selma's newest show, the Gloria Estefan musical On Your Feet. Plus, learn about Good Company's latest title, Pride and Prejudice, and read special 50th anniversary coverage of the company, including its big party on June 26th, featuring none other than Fresno hometown gal and Tony legend Audra McDonald. Now, let's get to our first guests. Joann Sharp and Angel Lesnikowski are here to tell us about Summer Arts. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. How'd I do on your name?
Amazing. Actually, you got it.
Fantastic. First time. Let me just first start off with you telling us, what do you all do at Summer Arts?
Sure. I'm the assistant director for Summer Arts student engagement. So Summer Arts has 2 tracks, if you will. There's a performance series that is open to the public, and there's the academic program. So I work on the academic side of Summer Arts with students and our academic programming and what goes on in the classrooms.
That's great. And Angel?
I started off as the student representative for the community board of Summer Arts, and then I became a student in 2020, summer 2020, and then now I work for Joann as her academic assistant. I help students apply and work personally with them to figure out which program is the best for them.
And I know that you've taken a couple of Summer Arts classes. We'll talk about that in a minute. Before we do that, there are people in Fresno, it's hard to believe, but they don't know anything about Summer Arts, even though you've been here, this is what, your 18th
This is our 18th summer in Fresno and our 37th summer out there in the world.
So give us just like a sketch of what it is.
Sure. So Summer Arts provides a profoundly life-changing intensive arts experience for people in the visual, literary, performing, and media arts. So theater, music, dance, visual arts, creative writing, television, animation. If it's an art, we will cover it at some point. The classes that take place on Fresno State campus are 2 weeks long, and they are actually taught by the best guest artists in the world. So we have brought in, you know, Emmy, Tony, Grammy, Oscar, Pulitzer, tons of MacArthur Genius Grant people come and teach our classes, and they're working one-on-one with the students pretty much all day long, every day for 2 weeks. It's really great because, you know, they never stop class to like go to biology. They're always making art. And then at night, many of these world-renowned artists who are teaching our students during the day will give public events, and those are open to the Fresno community. So that's the public event presenting program side of Summer Arts.
It's like an embarrassment of riches during that month, right? You just open that schedule and see almost every night there's some fascinating, interesting, amazing thing taking place.
I think so.
So, Angel, you actually took a couple of these classes. Mm-hmm. What was that like for you as a student? I understand you took a master painting class.
So for both courses, I would say, especially master painting, it was 15 hours a day. I'd be there at 8 a.m. until 9 p.m., just working, getting to know the students, getting to know the artists. There was a lot of one-on-one, a lot of building connections with people, and then building connections with your work in different ways. So for master painting, I got to figure out what I wanted to do with my art in the future. And it's not set in stone, but at least I got somewhere, and I wouldn't have if I hadn't taken that course. And then with Art Anthropocene Action, I learned what direction I should take my work in to do better for the world, or to make it more about everyone else than just myself, because a lot of artists start off with doing biographical or what is the word?
Biographical?
Yeah, biographical, yeah. Okay. Where it's about themselves and they're trying to figure out how can I express myself. But what's really important is what's going on. And both courses really helped me kind of narrow that down for myself personally and how I can put that out into the world as an artist.
Now, you are a Fresno State graduate student. Yes. And you're also a working artist, and you've got a studio at Broadway. Can I come down and find you at the next art hop?
Yeah, so for the summer I don't open because it's too hot.
It's too hot.
Fresno heat. I focus on courses and summer arts or doing something to better my art, focus on that instead. But if it's not the summer, I'm open at Broadway Studios every first Thursday of the month for Art Hop. And I've been there since 2018. I have a second studio too at M Street Art Complex, and that's my working studio. So that's where I make the work and do this thesis and the study, and then I take it to Broadway and I sell it or talk about it or promote it.
So Joann, I understand there's some very good news this summer for Fresno audience members. You have a benefactor. So can you tell us about that, and also just give us an idea of a couple of the shows or lectures that people can attend.
Of course, yeah. So Prieto Automotive has made an incredibly generous donation to Summer Arts. They're underwriting our entire performance season, and that allows us to offer tickets to all of our ticketed events for $10 to the general public. For seniors and Fresno State faculty and staff, they are $5, and students and children, they are free. So you can come and see an event at Summer Arts that would cost many, many times more, even in Fresno, let alone in Los Angeles or San Francisco, and you're going to pay $10 for that. So some of our biggest events, probably our kickoff event, we have 3-time Grammy Award winner Jimmy Cuellar and Mariachi Garibaldi, along with Ballet Folklorico. They're doing a huge performance when the Satellite Student Union at Fresno State on June 26th. It is our kickoff event for the year. We're having a taco reception for the public after the show. So that's super exciting. We're really looking forward to that one. We also have what I think is a very special event. It's a community paper Pour, and that is on June 30th. And that might sound like, what's that going to be? And I'll tell you. There's a man named Drew Cameron, and he is a paper-making artist, but he has made it his life work to work with veterans, specifically veterans with trauma also. And he has a company called Combat Paper. It's a nonprofit, and they work with veterans to take their uniforms and pulp them and make paper and then make art out of that paper. So to reclaim that uniform and make something beautiful and unique out of it. And we're doing, it's family friendly, it's early on the 30th, it's over in Conley Art on campus, and people are going to see how paper is made and what goes on in the process. There's going to be a little bit of a hands-on portion. Everybody gets a little prize to take away who shows up there. So I'm really excited for that event because it's really meaningful social work that they're doing, but it's also just beautiful craft.
That sounds like a great event. One of the things that I've always loved about Summer Arts is it allows you to expand your own interests. And especially now if it's just $10, you know, you can take a chance on something. And some of the best things that I've ever attended were ones that I didn't necessarily think I'd be all that interested in. Video projection mapping, right? That was a crazy good event to attend. So, Angel, I want you to paint a picture for us. It's late at night, you know, maybe this end of the first week at Summer Arts. Most people are staying in the dorms. There's a sense of community, right? What is it like for the artists?
Okay, so from my experience, we never left the studio. It would end up being 1 a.m. and we'd still be in the art studio. I remember I had one of the students help me drag chain link across the floor to scrape the spray paint off to make an effect that we were looking for. It was 12 a.m. in the morning on 4th of July. That's what we were doing while the fireworks were going off, trying to get our projects together, getting really passionate. And if it wasn't about art, there were a few times where we'd go to the dorms and play Uno and connect and like lifelong connections with these people because of these small little memories that we had. We ran up, do you know where the business building is near the art department? I remember at one point during the 4th of July, we had all run up to the top of the business building to watch all the fireworks because we weren't home with our families. We were together as a family, as artists, and it was really awesome.
Sounds like there's a lot of camaraderie there.
Yes.
And also probably just a lot of idea sharing. A lot of times being an artist can be kind of a solitary thing, so it must be really nice to be able to connect with people.
It was my first experience. I'm going to say connecting with other artists in that way because, so I compared it to a semester of school as an artist. So just a general studio art class in college setting, and it's a semester long. I got to know these summer arts people, summer arts artists, quicker than I would have a year with other students in the same program as me as an art student, even if I took the same class with them, because you're with these people 15 hours a day, every day, dedicated to talking to each other and conversing about art and conversing about yourselves and figuring out who you are as an artist or what art you're doing. So like for paper making, I imagine that's going to be very deep and they're going to explore a lot of things within themselves, and I can't imagine them not being there till 1 in the morning, just like we were, working on everything.
So Joann, Fresno has a really long and loving relationship with Fresno with Summer Arts, and I'm wondering if you could speak to that. It isn't like if you held Summer Arts, say, in Los Angeles or...
No, it's not.
A place like that.
I've been on many campuses with Summer Arts. Been here for a long time. We were at Cal State Long Beach, which, you know, that campus is a city of 40,000 people. Fresno is just really special. The community is so embracing. It's a really special place for us to be. We were here from 1999 through 2011 in our first tenure here, and then we did 5 years at Cal State Monterey Bay, and then we came back in 2017, and here we are. When we came back, it was like we never left. Like, the community are our friends. I go to the shows every night. I know those people. I love to be out there and see the same faces and just see our friends and see the new faces, because every year there are a lot of new people who are just learning about summer arts. And there are people like you who just come to everything just to see what it's going to be.
It's a great adventure. And it's eye-opening. Tell us, how do you get more information about all of these different performances? What's the best way?
So, CSU Summer Arts is the magic word. If you don't want to remember our website, which is csusummerarts.org, you can just type CSU Summer Arts into Google and you'll get there. To buy tickets for our shows, you would go to csusummerarts.org and click on public events, and there's information about all the various events. You can also click on students and see what classes are still open. We have most of our classes that are taking place on the Fresno State campus have a couple of seats left, and they're for serious artists. You're not going to come to Summer Arts and learn to play the guitar. You're going to Summer Arts already really knowing how to play the guitar.
But if there are artists out there who could,
exactly.
So I would recommend that folks do that. Check out
but for the daily update, to sort of have us be on your radar, just I think following us on Instagram. Again, we're CSU Summer Arts on Instagram, and we will be posting about the events daily. So, and we're not yet selling out in Fresno, although maybe that first Mariachi Folklorico event will sell out. But if you just see it, it's Wednesday, and you see that night's event on Instagram and you want to go, just go.
It's great advice. Thank you so much for coming by and sharing that with us. Remember that Summer Arts runs June 26th through July 22nd. And now let's welcome our next guests who are part of Madera Theater Project's big new season. Michael Christopher Flores and Zelia Ankrum are here to tell us more. Welcome. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you both. Zelia, I have to laugh because it was probably was it exactly a year ago?
Yeah, almost exactly a year. Yeah.
That you were here on this set. Remind us why were you here for that?
I was on a Disney Channel show called Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion.
That's right. Now I understand that was just one season. Is that correct? So any Black Scorpion fans out there who are hoping for that second season, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I thought there was a petition, and I was like, well, I guess. I don't know, maybe.
That's okay for you.
Yeah.
So now this summer you are in Into the Woods, and we're going to talk about that as part of the Madera Theater Project season. So, Michael, I know that you are a Madera guy. It's home for you.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Madera Theater Project. It's just 2 years old, right?
Yes, this is our second season. I was born and raised in Madera. My family lives there, and so it literally is home. But I'm very excited to come back to this program that is a partnership between the Madera Unified School District and the Madera County Arts Council, and led by three amazing individuals, Brandon Gillis, Ginger Latimer, and Jim Core, who basically helped bring this all to fruition, and now we're in our second season, so it's super exciting.
You have a beautiful facility that you perform in, a brand new high school.
Yes, it's a new high school in Madera that opened not too long ago. It's Matilda Torres High School, and so all the shows are set there. It's proscenium seating, so it's really exciting to be directing in that space.
So just so we can get the chronology straight for people, in terms of the shows this season, we're in the middle right now of your first show, which is Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
And that closes on
June 24th.
June 24th. Then we're going to open
Anna in the Tropics.
Anna in the Tropics. What can you tell us about that?
So we started off with Alice, and then we're going into Anna in the Tropics, which opens July 6th, directed by Rodolfo Robles Cruz. And I think it's amazing the diverse or the inclusive shows that we have in our season, from a musical to a childhood favorite for some to a beautiful Latine piece of theater. So yeah, it's really exciting.
And then you've got the third show, the final show of the season, Into the Woods, which is, of course, a classic.
Right, a Sondheim fave.
I'm curious, Zelia, what's your connection to Into the Woods? I'm betting that you saw the movie. Have you seen productions of it before?
I don't think I've seen one here, but I grew up watching the 80s version, and that's always been my favorite. And I didn't grow up watching the movie too, but I think for me, I always wanted to be Little Red, and I was like, or the witch, or like literally all the female roles are like so amazing in that musical. But yeah. So Michael, you have a slightly different concept for this Into the Woods, and without going into it too much, because you just started rehearsals, so there might be some changes. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, so I think what we can say for sure that I've been pretty sure on is the way that I see the show is, I think, the world of the narrator, I wanted to bring more to life by having the narrator be accompanied by a set of schoolhouse students. So the narrator kind of lives as this class president type. So the schoolhouse essentially in the 60s era is telling the story of Into the Woods. And I'm hoping to really allow for that to bring out more of the themes and the darker undertones that Into the Woods has.
And there are some darker undertones.
There's a little bit, yeah.
Your character, Zelia, and you play Little Red Riding Hood. For those 5 people in the country that have never seen or have no idea what happens, tell us what happens to your character. Well, it's the basic tale of Little Red Riding Hood, and she's learning about the big bad wolf and what people not to trust, who she can. And I think the way me and Michael wanted to see it was that maybe Little Red is a little aware of what's going on around her and the society she's living in, but also just a kid. So like playing with that contrast. Yeah. So you're kind of on that border between kiddom and adultdom, right?
And
Go ahead.
Well, I just feel like, too, it's interesting because we've been having so many conversations with correlating the 60s to the Brothers Grimm, which is the source material, to today and what that feels like today. What do unsafe spaces in 2023 post-COVID-19 epidemic look like for our society? How do we navigate through crisis? And so these are the questions that we're asking and we're pondering. But yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about MTP. That's what we're calling it, right?
Yeah.
Madera Theater Project. It's a very ambitious season for a pretty small town. What has gone into these productions, just in terms of like the community involvement?
Oh, well, I mean, I think it's really based on bringing live performance to Madera, which hasn't really, other than the educational institutions, we haven't seen that in our community of Madera. So I think allowing for students to learn by doing, alongside being mentored by professionals in our community and our community at large, they're able to, through the district and through the partnership with the Madera Arts Council, the students are able to learn firsthand both behind the scenes and on stage of what it feels like to be part of a production. When I was in high school in Madera, we didn't really have that. We just had our high school theater. We didn't have, Good Company Players or Summer Arts Center or some of these amazing theaters that these other towns have. So to be bringing that to my community and to be a small part of that is just an amazing venture that I can't wait to see continue to grow.
So you are getting ready at the end of the summer to go off to grad school. You're going to get an MFA in directing. Where did you do your undergrad, and what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad at San Diego State University, musical theater performance, and it was important for me as a director to continue to feel what it feels like to be a performer, to be on the other side. So spending 2 years doing that was a really challenging experience, but a really rewarding one. I mean, I feel like I feel like as a director and both as a performer and just being an entertainer, you really have to have a sense of identity. And so these last 2 years have been sort of just in a really cliche way finding myself.
And now you're going off to the Midwest.
Right, which I'm going to continue to find myself and see how I navigate through snow.
Gotcha. So Zelia, you're going to be singing for us. Tell us a little bit about your song, and there's a particular lyric that I've always been drawn to. It's when Little Red sings the difference between nice and good. Is that? Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, we were literally going over this for like 2 hours yesterday and like figuring out what the song meant to both of us, and then finding that happy middle ground. And for us, it felt like a reflection of everything that she's gone through. And honestly, it's a story that most girls can relate to, of like, well, where's that boundary for me? Where do I figure that out? And she's exploring that and how she felt with everything. And I think it's kind of powerful how she grounds herself in her own knowledge at the end.
It's just a great part too, isn't it? I mean, it just you get to sing the heck out of of that song, and it's a very meaningful.
We're
moment.
really lucky to have Zelia, part of our production.
So before we break to get set up for the song, remind us again, when does Into the Woods open?
Yes, Into the Woods opens August 3rd and it closes August 12th.
Okay, so we have some time, and I bet that you're going to have some fun during rehearsal exploring this amazing show.
Yeah.
When we return, we are going to hear Zelia sing a song from Into the Woods. And now, Zelia Ankrum will perform I Know Things Now from Into the Woods.
Mother said, straight ahead, not to delay or be misled. I should have heeded her advice, but he seemed so nice. And he showed me things, many beautiful things, that I never thought to explore. They were off my path, so I never had dared. I had been so careful, I never had cared. And it made me feel excited, well, excited and scared. When he said, come in, with that sickening grin, how could I know what was in store? Once his teeth were bare, though I really got scared. Well, excited and scared, but he drew me close and he swallowed me down a dark, slimy path where lie secrets that I never want to know. And when everything familiar seemed to disappear forever, at the end of the path was Granny once again. So we waited in the dark until someone set us free. We're brought into the light, we're back at the start, and I know things now, many valuable things that I hadn't known before. Do not put your faith in a cape and a hood. They will not protect you the way that they should. And take extra care with strangers, even flowers have their dangers. Although scary is exciting, nice is different than good. Now I know, don't be scared, Granny is right, just be prepared. Isn't it nice to know a lot? And a little bit not.
I love that show. I love that song. Thank you. Now that wraps it up for this month's episode of the Munro Review on CMAC. Be sure to keep up online at munroreview.com for previews, giveaways, profiles, reviews, and more. A big thank you to our crew, and thank you to all our guests. And for all of you, please keep exploring and supporting the local art scene. We'll see you next time.